Looking back on this and we'll say, aren't you happy that we did it our way? Everyone we knew was saying no way, but we were never listening anyway. So don't be just standing in the doorway. Don't you know we gotta hit the highway? Darling, this is gonna be a good day. And I've gotta say that I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing.
Good afternoon.
Hello, hello, hello.
One day, I'll be looking back on this and I'll say, I'm so happy that you said you would stay. There were times I know that I was crazy, fraying at the edges and you saved me. I'm losing count of chances that you gave me. You're laughing at me dancing really badly and telling me the reasons why you'd gladly do it all again. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Well, hey, words can never adequately convey everything you're giving to me today. But holding you is better than a holiday, and leaving you I dread it like exam day. So at the risk of sounding kinda risque, everything to now has been the foreplay. Darling, I would follow you to Norway, or anywhere you want it. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself.
Hey, Donna.
But you're amazing. You're amazing.
So it's speaking to people to this.
I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day, when we're getting wrinkly and our hair's grey, a rusty old banger in the driveway, one of us will maybe wear a toupee, but I will be in love with you.
Ooh. Hello, 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 and welcome, amazing impact makers, on this incredible, exclusive, never ever happened ever before bonus session on how you are going to see how I'm actually going to unravel how I prepare for a speaking engagement. Who's excited for this? I mean, I've never ever done this. Isn't that cool? So awesome. So, before we go there, would it be okay if I'm going to share super quickly in less than 5 minutes what is going on here on this cruise and what speaking opportunities have already unfolded just by being here for 4 days? Because I want you to see what's possible, not to just brag about what's happening, but more to open up the horizon of what's possible for you. Now, when we want to be a speaker, and we want to get on stages, then where are stages? I see you, Carolyn. Everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So I'm here on this cruise, right? And I'm asked to be a speaker. So I have two speaking slots. One was yesterday, one is going to be in 2 days from now. The one in 2 days from now, we're going to prepare as a group. But before that happened, we had a WhatsApp group. And in that WhatsApp group, there was a question. Who in this group would love to be a host on one of the conference days? Because we need more hosts. Now, who in this group is a host? No one. No one. And that has probably to do with what you think you need to be or need to be able to do before you're going to say yes to saying you're a host, right? The rules of success that you have shape whether or not you feel successful. Does that make sense? If you need to run a marathon a day, do 5 pull-ups, have 5 speaking engagement every single week, then are we making it hard or easy for ourselves to succeed? Right? It's good to have high goals, but it's really important to appreciate our practice now. So when I got that question, of course, I'm in this industry a little longer now, but what I hear is, can you hold a mic and introduce someone? Like, I can do that. Totally. Of course. Of course. Right? And then I say yes. And then what happens? The first day I get on stage and now I get introduced that I will be the speaker tomorrow. Now you think how many people came up to that speaking engagement? The room was freaking packed. There were people sitting on the floor. I think it was like 150 people. And now we're selling the next workshop. And then from there, the next thing is going to arise. Now, another thing. And by the way, just by this story, who can say yes to a host next time? On a workshop. Like, it doesn't need to be 150 people. It can be a group of 10. It can be, hey, do you have a host? I'm more than happy to introduce you. That's actually how I did it often. It's like, oh, you don't have a host? It's really important to have a host. I can do that for you. Would that make sense? I'm willing to do that for free. You got yourself new stage time, you got yourself new photos in front of a stage. Does it make sense? Do we see that we can create speaking opportunities wherever we go? And what happens when you're a host? People come up to you. And it's not about you. So you have to be less nervous. You just have to say how amazing these other speakers are. And now they feel like, oh my God, you did so amazing because no one's really paying attention to you anyways. So now you give yourself some move to practice. Now, another thing, I'm sitting next to a guy at lunch and he says, I'm a videographer and a photographer. And I am shooting a documentary from on here on the cruise. And there's 4 people I'm following. Now, what is the thing that you're doing when that happens? Are you going to say A, oh my God, that's so amazing? Is that B, oh my God, I wish I could be one of those 4? Or C, other option? Which one? I see B. I see a lot of B's. I see B's. I see Nicole saying, do you have a host already? I think that's actually a really cool idea. I didn't think of that. Um, and this is what almost everybody thinks. It's like, oh my God, I wish I could be there. But what if you are the speaker who knows the stage is where? Everywhere. And you're not there to just wait until it happens. You're here to create it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so inspiring. How are these 4 chosen? Because I would have loved to be one of those. It's like, oh, well, if you love it so much, I might be able to ask you if we can just add you to it. I'm like, that's a great idea. Now, you think what happened? Of course, they said yes. Why? Because you're excited, you're anticipating, you're moving forward, you're saying yes, and now, and this is where kind of like the magic happens. And I'm not sure if I can show you specifically but I will. Try. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So after all of this, I wake up, I look at my Instagram, and then I get a message from someone that I'm like, I don't really remember who you are, but I'll read the message. This, you guys, is what we're doing it for. You have control over certain elements. You anticipate, you create, you're moving forward, you're leaning into imperfection. Today we're going to see how you prepare, but I want you to see what's possible. I open my phone and this is the message of someone I don't completely remember. Hello, Where are you in the world? We are currently looking for a female keynote speaker to speak at a PM Day, I don't know what it is, in 2026, March 19th. Now, there's more to this message that will continue in a bit. When you read that, what is your reaction? Show it with your face. Carolyn, Laverne. You know what my face was? This. And I'll explain you why. Because I get messages like these every single day in Facebook Messenger, on Instagram. And then I now know which one are like maybe true and which one are leaning towards we have 150 speakers and you just need to pay $3,000 or euros to join and it's the best opportunity you could ever. I'm like, yeah, sure, next, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let's read on. The theme is around back to basics of project management. We have different speakers on. 2 years ago was it's a Dutch word, is discover, to give you an idea. Let me know if you might be interested in speaking in front of 1,000 people. I know you would be amazing. We also need lectures and workshops if you prefer something smaller. Like, this actually sounds pretty legit. That's pretty dope. So now, when you read that message, we have our emotional roller coaster. Now, what is a message you would reply to that? What is something that you would reply to that? Let's do this unmuted. Nicole, what would you say? Like, what would you type? But say it out loud so we speed up a little bit.
I would actually ask them how long it's going to be and how long I would be on stage or what's the time frame I should present. So I know actually what I can bring to or what I shall deliver, kind of an
Yep,
idea.
good one. Carolyn.
Can you tell me more?
Okay, beautiful. Daphne, what would you say? Because it's all going to happen to you. I want you to know that, Daphne.
Yeah, probably what Carolyn said about give me more information in order for me to
Okay,
make an informed decision.
yeah. Laverne?
I definitely would need more information.
Maybe
Okay,
location and whether
Then
it's
right,
live or
okay,
recorded.
perfect.
right.
Perfect, guys. This is exactly how I'm thinking as well. So instead of saying, oh my God, yes, of course, so now we become a little needy and now they have all the control. What I shared, and I will read this. That sounds amazing. I'd love to learn a little bit more about it. Where's the conference? Who's the audience? What's the outcomes you want to achieve? And watch out. What makes you think I can add value at this event? What would be the topic I am speaking about? So what we're doing is we're basically saying you want me. It's a really good idea because I'm incredible. So I want to hear some more things, but tell me also why you think that I should be it because I'm pretty busy. And then I say, grateful you think I'm a good fit. So now this morning I got a message, send me your email address and we'll send you more information. Thanks, have a wonderful day. And I said, sure, here you have my email address. So I'll keep you posted and I'll bring you along on how this works because we gotta become better and better in spotting opportunities. And I just want you to know that when you do these actions, you know what, the host, I still do all these things. I still almost don't never want to really get paid for speaking. I still to this day still prefer to get more reps in than get a lot of money. Just for all of you to know, like you want a lot of reps. You want momentum. You want a lot of stage time because it's going to compound. And then you, on some point, you're going to get messages come to you and they will pay high fees. Why? Because you're incredible. You already are incredible, but then you already also are incredibly skilled as a speaker and you've got so much experience that you know you have it. And that is what's worth the money. What's worth the money is the certainty. It's not the quality of your knowledge. Does that make sense? And of course, it's both, but you get what I mean. All right. So with that said, Who is excited to understand how Lori prepares for her own speaking engagement and how you can apply the same framework that you're using in your way? And can I please have a thumbs up if the audio at least is still congruent? Perfect, because sometimes we're lacking a little in the video. Super. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share with you what the topic is, what the outline is, and we're just going to together fill in the framework of the blueprint that you all have access to. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you the money. Show you the money. I'm going to show you the speaking blueprints. So for the sake of it, I created my own. Lori, this is your speaking blueprint. So there we are. You can all see my screen? All right, so this is the blueprint you all have access to, right? Define the transformation, the aim, the now and the new, pick your stories, glue it all together, and optimize the delivery. Now, this is what I already shared with the host, right? So I'll read it for you. The title is Captivate and Convert Any Audience, the Magic of Storytelling. Now, for all of you who get asked, how do I title my speech? What is it going to be named at? Who here can totally overthink that and spend 3 days thinking about the perfect title? Be honest. Be honest. Right? How I do this is I give a title that will be specific enough to be clear what it is, but vague enough that I can still change the content if I want to. Little insight. So I make it specific enough so I know what I will be talking about, and it's somehow very specific for the audience. So, for example, when it's around health, is how to stay young forever in a world that's constantly changing. Or with wealth, it could be how to make finances fun, or how to make sure um, you have your numbers in order, even though life gives you curveballs. It's like these are so vague, you can still teach whatever you want, but it's still clear for the audience on what they can kind of expect. Does that make sense? Now, then in the description, and I was reading this, I'm like, I don't think I wrote this. So this is what the hosts did themselves. I think I shared like 1 or 2 sentences, and then they created their own. Which says, stories are the most powerful way to connect, inspire, and convert. In this session, Lori Babelis will show you exactly how to use them effectively. You'll discover the true power of storytelling and how to pick the right stories for the right moments so your message deeply resonates with your audience. Lori will guide you through applying storytelling techniques to your own content and communication, helping you turn inspiration into impact and income. By the end of this session, you will know how to craft, deliver stories that captivate, convert, and leaving a lasting impression. Wow. When I read this, I'm like, oh, I want to attend this. Oh, wait, I'm doing this myself. Right? Like, this is just what people create based on what you give them. And then what I do when I prepare, and this is, this is literally what happened. Instead of thinking, what do I want to teach? Or what does the audience need? I go to what are they going to read and what are they going to expect from the workshop that I'm giving or from the keynote that I'm giving. So instead of to totally overcomplicate this, and this is a full customer journey, you guys. Like, what do people know about me as a person? What do they know about the topic before they're even entering the room? What is their expectation? Because I can give a stellar keynote about storytelling, but if they are not in the now, I'm losing them, right? So what I already did before we're going to do this together, I put in the aim, right? As you all know, I'm on a cruise going from Seattle to Sydney, which is ridiculous, and I have to pinch myself every single day. And that is going to be the audience. So I help the entrepreneurs, coaches, and digital nomads during the cruise to use storytelling and captivate and convert without complex frameworks So they feel more comfortable using storytelling in their day-to-day life and in their business. So I got to be in tune with who is my audience specifically here. And that is why you have this framework. It will be different for different audiences. It will be different in different occasions. So we got to fill this in for this moment specifically. Now, in all honesty, I've done this so many times that I don't always fill in this specific blueprint. But we are going to do this to go through it so you have a framework that you can use and you have something that gives you control of what you're doing. So since you're all on this journey, who already watched the course around the storytelling, by the way? Right? So you can think along. And for everybody who hasn't seen it yet, bear with us. So let's do this together. We have to fill in the now and the new. Basically, where do people start right now? What do they believe? What do they have? What do they think? What do they believe? And the new situation. What will they believe, think, do, act differently upon after listening to our transformation? So let's do this together. We're going to do this interactive style. What do people, because you're basically in that audience, what do people believe about storytelling before? What are some ideas? And what, if you didn't watch the course, what are some beliefs that you have, Carolyn?
I may think, oh, it's them. It's not about me. It's their story. It's a waste of my time.
Okay, perfect. So, and if I would paraphrase that, Carolyn,
Please.
it's like, who would care about my story, right? Because they're going to learn storytelling and maybe they're like, oh, I don't even know that it's valuable to share my story. So why would I even listen to this? What else? What are some beliefs that you might have, Daphne?
That it can be entertaining.
Okay, could be entertaining. And what do you
And that
mean with that?
it's like a lifelong process of people gathering together during campfires and they share stories about their lives. And it's probably one of the most primitive forms of communication known to man is storytelling. And they pass it down through
Yep.
generation to generation.
Yes, beautiful. Very good. What else? Carolyn?
Is it relevant?
Mm. What else? Laverne, you got something? Anything that comes to mind? Carolyn?
Is this just going to be a waste of my time?
Mm-hmm. I'm journaling them in the now. What else? There's no right or wrong, by the way. And the reason why we're going through this a little bit longer than you might think that we're already finished is because you want to do this too. There's so many thoughts. Nicole.
Can you please phrase the question? Because my internet is, I don't know, I don't get you today perfectly. I'd like to
You got
hear
it.
the
So
precise question.
what are the beliefs, thoughts, pictures that people have around how to captivate an audience through storytelling right now?
Thank you.
So what do you think, Nicole?
Nothing is coming in my mind at the moment. It's the first time, sorry. Sorry.
That's okay. So this is awesome because this is the same process that you will experience with yourself, and sometimes it's actually easier to do it for someone else because now you're not so close to the topic. So it's easier to see it. So everything that you feel right now is exactly what you will feel or have felt with your own um, presentation. So what you can do, and I actually will test this with you live, is to ask ChatGPT. So share my screen. And then I will literally paste this in. What are beliefs, thoughts they will have that I need to address to create rapport with them from the beginning? Let's see what it says. Ooh, what about this one? Really good one. I'm not a good storyteller. I don't have a story. Lori, I just don't have one. We gotta add that. That's a really good one. Ooh, what about this one? Okay, this is a fun skill, but I'm here to make business. This is not useful for me. Okay, good one. Ooh, good one. But I speak to different audiences. How do I know what story fits? Okay, good one. I'm busy. Oh, I don't have time to create stories. Great one. ChatGPT is great, you guys. Oh my god. This is insane. I don't like this one. Oh yeah, I've heard about it a million times. What is going to make different and why is this going to be useful? So do you see how we're doing this? Like, I'm certainly not perfect in any sorts of way. The only goal that we have is we want to kind of download what thoughts could our audience have. Because what you want to make sure of is that you're going to address them, because when they have them, you need to talk about them, because otherwise you're going to lose. In the course, I think I explain a story about a limousine where when we're going to travel, like imagine we're going to Italy, Sicily, right? I think Carolyn has a big dream of retiring in Italy. So imagine being in Italy, but then in order for Carolyn to get there, she first needs to step on an airplane. And if she doesn't know where that airplane is starting, she might not end in Italy. And that's the same with presentation. We got to make sure that people have a specific place where they're going to start, because if they don't see, oh, this is my gate, then they won't have the whole journey. So we got to make sure we understand where they're now. Now, the reason why we're staying with this topic quite long is because it's that important. Like, we don't want to be perfect in every thought. You can ask ChatGPT. If I ask ChatGPT now, and this is something you can literally do. Amazing. Amazing. Can you give me 50 more? Okay. Oh, you guys, this is freaking gold. It's all true. I've done this long enough. So what you're doing now is you're just basically putting on paper what you already know deep down. It's obvious, but if you don't write it down, you're not going to mention it. So for example, this one. I wouldn't even know where to start a story. So the thing is, in this presentation, we probably don't talk about how to actually start. So what I could do is, and you might wonder, like, how do I start with this? But I want you to know, you don't need to think about it right now. What we need to do is this. So instead of me just going over that, I know that it's a thought in a lot of people's brain. So you might be wondering, how do I start? How do I finish? Or is my story even worth sharing? But it's okay if we park those thoughts right now and focus on what it is, because I know where you are and this is where we need to go. So now you address everybody in the room, because you know those are thoughts that they're having. Does that make sense? Do we understand why we do this now? because you can create amazing transformation, but if you're not connecting with people where they are in the moment, you're not going to connect with them. Then let's go to the new. Let's go to the newer situation where people will be right after they listen to us. And let's do that all together. Let's brainstorm together. What will they know? What would they believe? What would they think differently after they've experienced what they just went through? What do we got? Nicole,
Oh my God, I can do this as well.
let's go. Good job. What else?
This is easier than I thought. I can do this.
Yes.
I'm crazy not to do this.
Yes.
I was just about to say.
What else? You can just unmute yourself.
I'm always looking for that aha moment. That's my gold.
I'm not
Yeah.
alone on that journey.
I see it's possible.
What else?
This is so doable.
Yes.
I need to follow her. She's amazing.
What else?
I want to be her.
Yep. What else?
Where can I sign up?
What else?
Why haven't I ever thought of that?
What's the next step I can do?
Yeah. Beautiful. Do we see that when we're brainstorming out loud, there's quite a lot that comes up? And do we see that we can do the same thing with ChatGPT and ask, like, what are 50 other thoughts? Do we see that? And do we see that if we now understand that that is what, and I will share my screen again because I was typing, right? That right here, this is not a framework that you want to fill in perfectly. It's not about that. It's not that when Lori sees it, oh, there's all perfect grammar. It's like, no, it's not about that. It is a whole list of kind of like downloads for yourself, so you know where they are. You know how they're going. This is also not the place where you're now, oh, Lori said ChatGPT, she said 50. I'm going to put 100 and I'm going to put all 100 in and now I'm going to brag to the whole group because I did the exercise. That's also not what this is about. This is about you getting familiar, really feeling your audience where they are, understanding their thoughts, knowing what to say so they feel connected with where you are. Does that make sense? Right? So that is how we feel this. Now, when we are going to teach something, we always have to make sure we do that in steps of 3, right? We want to make sure, Laverne, you have a question?
Your volume is very low. I find when others are talking, it's fine, but I am having problems hearing you.
Are there more people that have problems hearing me?
No.
No?
No?
I will talk
Okay.
a little louder, but I'm also in a public place, so I want to be mindful
Okay.
of that as well.
Okay, no problem.
So we want to always make sure there's 3 teaching points. 3 teaching points, right? So those 3 teaching points, it can be anything. It can be, number 1, what is storytelling really? Number 2, this is how you apply it in your personal life. Number 3, this is how you apply this in your business life. Does that make sense? Is the audio better, Laverne?
Yeah, it's
It's,
better.
yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yes, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very
It
much.
was the setting. So we always want to come up with 3 points. So again, these 3 points can be different. They can be in different ways. It can be they follow each other up. It can be it's one after a result after a result. It can be a lot of different connections with 3s. We just always want to make sure we boil them down back in 3, just because it's easier for other people to remember. That's it. That's the only reason. So let's just brainstorm out loud. What top 3s could we think of? What top 3s could we think of? And they're all going to be right. I just want you to practice with step number 3. Or thinking about this topic specifically. What can you think of as a top 3?
Can you repeat that question? Say that again.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. So when we are teaching, and this is where your blueprint is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that you have 3 teaching points.
Right.
3 teaching points. And those 3 teaching points can be whatever they are. But we always want to make sure we boil that back to 3, because that's how the brain loves to get information, loves to store information. So what are some 1, 2, 3s that you can think of that would be applicable on this specific topic? And I just made one up. We can also make a top 3 based on what Daphne just said. Like, this is how they used it previously. This is how you can use it now. This is how you will use it in a world of AI. So then we use the 1, 2, 3 more in time. What other top 3s can you think of, Nilsa?
If I relate it to finance, I could awareness, power of earning, and then the financial confidence.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what can you think of for storytelling?
For storytelling, is giving a story of a client who was spending more than they were earning, and then how they became aware of that situation and how they turned that around and created the power of earning, and how they managed their finances, their business growth. And then that all
Yep.
led to confidence. And then a story about financial confidence, how they created the financial flow and the financial freedom with their business.
Beautiful. And Nilsa, if we leave the financial topic out for a moment and just focus on the storytelling, as in the presentation that we are now together creating, what top 3s can you think of?
Okay, well,
Just for
I have
storytelling.
like a story, like what stories am I going to share?
Yep.
Okay, number 1, my parents moving to New York.
No. My question is, we're all preparing for a keynote that has a topic storytelling. So you're not
Oh,
finance
okay.
based right now.
Okay.
You know.
The power of being you.
Yeah.
Okay, you want 3 stories that can go with this framework?
Yeah. With no, not 3 stories. I want 3 teaching points. So I will explain it one more time. So we have this framework that you all have access to. Number 1 is that we need to be clear what it is that we're actually sharing, right? That's why we started there. That's why we started with reading what they actually are going to learn, right? We boiled it down through the framework. Then we brainstorm together. What do they need now? What is the new thoughts, new beliefs that they will have afterwards? Now we've got to teach something, right? We have to make sure that they will have 3 specific steps they can take away with for themselves after the presentation. Now the question is, what could those be? Because there's not one answer. We just want to make sure that our curriculum is tooled on 3 specific teaching points, so it's easy for people to remember.
Okay, so the 3 teaching points are the power of awareness, of earning, and confidence. Power of
Yeah,
awareness.
Yeah.
That would be 1 teaching point, the power of awareness.
Yeah.
Just be you. That could be the 2nd teaching point. And number 3, the power of choice.
Could be. And these 3 steps, right? The awareness of what stories you have. Let's start with the awareness, how many stories you actually have. Number two, awareness that you have stories, awareness that you are the story, the power of being you. And then step number three, what was step number three you said, Nilsa?
Confidence, the power,
Co-
the power of choice and confidence.
The power of choice and confidence, the power of choice to decide that you're actually going to do this. I'm just saying something, right? So now we just got to make sure there's a framework of three. Carolyn, you have another idea?
I'm just asking, I'm a little bit confused. Are you asking the same, like, where are you now to where you want to be and in between? Would that be the 3 steps we're looking for?
Yes, that could also be like
I
what
want
I'm.
a prize. I want a prize. Please, I want a prize.
10 points.
Oh, I love it.
Very well done. Very well done, Carolyn. Because when we go through threes, again, it can be all sorts of correlations between the threes. We can do past, present, future. But we can also do step 1, 2, and 3 to implement. It doesn't really matter. The point that I'm here making is when you share something, you have a lot of information, but you got to boil it back to some sort of 3 steps that people are able to implement or able to connect the information that you shared, because that's how the brain works. So just come up with your own 1, 2, 3. It doesn't really matter what the correlation is. So Carolyn, what you shared is where are you now? Where do you want to go? Or where are you now? Where what do you need to go to get there? Right? So that's 1, where are you now? 2, where do you want to go? 3, what is the gap? That is a beautiful correlation. Well done. Nicole, I saw your hand as well.
Yeah, I remember it was the connect and inspire and convert. It's exactly what Carolyn said. Get them at the pain point where they're right now. And then you connect with them, probably with your own story, what happened to you and how you changed, what inspired you to change. Maybe it was a person, maybe it was an money wise, I don't know, or just being somewhere else, and then convert how you have done it. So the result. So that is actually beautiful. And there you can take your own stories, or you talk about a friend, you know, and he was going through this situation. And then after that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yep, very good. So the cool thing about this whole bonus is that you're going to see how we do this, and you might still be a little confused at the end. That's not a problem. That's not a problem, because what you're going to see is how I actually do it. And then afterwards, I'm going to share with you how I done it and how I read now this framework on how I've done it. So you see how we're creating it together. And maybe you're getting confused by the teaching points, and maybe I can see that in your own talk. I don't know, right? Maybe the 3 steps are just not that clear yet, because this specific step is not completely owned yet. And maybe still you feel a little confused, but now you start to see how I implement this, and then how I reflect upon it later. You can learn how to do this for yourself. Does that make sense? So you don't need to completely fully understand it right now. You just got to kind of go with the flow, and then it's going to click. It's going to click. So what I am then doing is, once we have these boiled, when we start to understand where our audience is, where they want to go, I pick 3 teaching points, and I'll just pick one. I'm not even sure if I'm going to go with it, because how my brain often works is I need to do this. I need to look at it, and then I probably don't like anything I wrote, but I needed to write it down for me to get to my next level of thoughts. So for me, this is an iteration process. It's not just one moment that I'm going to sit and I'm going to make this perfect keynote. That's not what works for me. So I need to start a little bit earlier. I need to read this right before I go to bed. Then I wake up and I have some ideas and I start to change it. And as I said, right now I've done this so many times that I can kind of do this very fast without completely always writing it down perfectly like this. And that is in some point that the behavior is going to give you. Does it make sense? Does it also make sense that we do want to start off with a framework and don't wing it in our head first, right? We want to have a framework. So I would, for example, start with number 1, what is a story? Really. Number 2, impact of stories on connection and business. So basically personal and business. And then I would say something along the lines of how to create one. And again, I'm just putting this down as 1, 2, 3. For me, these kind of feel logical steps, but maybe I'll change them later. But I always want to make sure there's somewhere some 3s, because that's how the brain works. It's not because I think it's just a fun number. It's just the brain loves 3s because it is easy to remember. If you have 9 steps, you can say I have 3 buckets and all 3 buckets have 3 steps. So instead of having 9, you have 3 times 3. It's just what we love to remember. Okay. So again, do we see that this framework is here to help you, but not to restrict you? It's here to facilitate, it's here to guide. It's not an exercise to fill this in perfectly. It's a tool in your toolbox. Then I'm going to go to pick my stories. Now, what I need to do is I kind of have this solid. I have this. Now I go to here. What stories I'll probably use, and this is a story I've used over and over and over and over again that I'm sure you either heard, or when you're going to listen to it in the course, you're going to be like, oh yeah, there she is with her banana story.
Oh my God.
Who remembers the banana story? When I say the banana story, who remembers what I mean, right? Isn't that fun? What is, Sean, what is the morale of the banana story?
I believe it was placing value or story on something that didn't have value or had very minimal value, and you placed a story on it, and because of the story, it became more valuable. In that case, was it a plastic banana, I believe, or anything you
Yes.
could take that you could buy, and there was this whole thing. So yeah, it blew my mind too. Just a story would increase the value in something.
Right? And it's just so cool because it's a story. So I literally say, I know you won't forget this because I'm doing what I share I'm gonna do. So it's a story about something that actually not only explains the truth, but also explains it while doing it. So it's just so powerful. And then, I mean, I read this, and this is just for you all to know, like I read this in a book and I thought, oh my God, this, because they explained this experiment and they taught something different with it. I think it was the power of raising money for charity, because this is actually an experiment done for charity. And I'm reading this in this book and I'm like, oh my God, this is so powerful. I will use this in my own presentations to teach about storytelling. This is so powerful. So what did I do? And this is the behavior that we need to get ourselves to. I go to my story library that I created, that you all have all access to, that you all have the template about, that you all have a whole section on how to do this. And I remember what it's called. I have in my story library, I have the banana story. So when I wrote it, when I was reading it, I'm like, oh my God, I want to use this one day. So I put this in, and I put this in so I remember it, banana story. But then I have also some notes on what specifically happened. So I don't need to rehearse it every single time. I don't need to remember it every single time. I mean, now I do. I've done it so many times that I didn't dream this. But I have some bullet points of what that story is about. And when you read this, you actually notice that I probably didn't use a lot of this. This I never really share. This I didn't really share. But if I want to, I can look back and it's easy for me to find in my own dictionary. Then I have some other, because I mean, the banana story is truly which one I like personally the most, but there's so many. So I gave myself some inspiration that I can use. And then I also have the link of the place where the experiment is actually done, so I can always find back if people have questions, because I hate it when the speaker has cool information and then you ask like, yeah, can I read more? And they're like, yeah. And then they probably got it from someone else and they didn't really do their own research. I always like to be the one who actually knows what I'm sharing. So we go to our own story library and we store those stories, right? So when I do my presentations, what I do is I go to my own story library and I scroll through and I'm like, which ones do I want to pull here? And right now I'm in a space of my life where I can easily leverage recent stories that happened. So I don't always go physically to my story library anymore because it's so ingrained in my soul that I just have this behavior now. And that's where I want you to be as well. I want you to have the story library where you store your information. You're also practicing with recognizing what a story actually is because you experienced 3 stories today. You might not recognize them as such. That's why we have the story library. You have a specific exercise to sit down, to write down your stories, to do the work, to give them tags, to understand what the aim is, what the teaching points are. And also, so you never have to be panicky if you can not come up with a story that's useful. So if you just look at my story library, just for the sake of it, of how serious I take this, from the amount. And this is not that you all need to now fill your story library like crazy like I do. I think if you do 1 a day, you know, like in 8 weeks, how many stories do you have? Like a lot. So this is just mine. Look how many, right? And if you look at the dates, like I started in 2020, right? This is not built in a day. This is not me locking myself up. It's like, no, it's the act of awareness that we want to train. So at some point, I always journaled my own stories down, and on Friday, I put them in my story library, and it created kind of a rhythm. And when you want to write your book, you all wrote it. You just got to piece it together. So this is a lot of work, but this is beautiful work. And you're going to notice that you're going to remember stories that you forgot about. And it's going to be a fun practice. So again, the story library is also not as an exercise for you to say, Lori, I done my homework. Look, right? I will be proud of you. But it's more of a tool. It's a tool where you store your information and you can pull out whenever you need them. Does it make sense? So when I'm preparing a keynote, what I do is I get clear on what I actually am here to achieve, right? It's not about Lori and her cool story library. It's about, no, we want to achieve something. Now, what is that? And again, also this sentence is here to help you get clear. It's not for you to fill it in perfectly. It's also not for you to find, is it entrepreneurs or is it actually founders? Because it has a different, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, it's just for you to put it there. It's just to have a clear idea. Now this, same thing. It's not to fill it in as much as possible. It's not to, get as many rounds. It's to really boil down what it is that your audience wants. And this is nice, but I want you to feel it. I want you to experience it. I want you to embody it. I want you to be there mentally. And then we got our 3 teaching points. Now I will give you an 85% chance that I will change these, right? This is just for me to give myself some backbone to start finding the right stories. And now I'm starting to play around because I need to connect my teaching points with my stories. And sometimes I have a really good top 3. And then I'm starting to pick my stories and I'm going to see, okay, banana, it really doesn't say anything about me. So I probably, and I'll just use these examples because I share them more often. I'll probably use this one. I'll probably use something of this. And then I might include something else. So now I'm just playing around and I'm making sure, okay, when I tell some stories, I'm making sure I'm choosing them from buckets from all areas of my life. When I choose stories, I make sure they connect with my teaching points. Sometimes I start writing down my teaching points and then I find stories. And sometimes in the creative process, I have a really cool idea of a story, but now my teaching points don't connect with it anymore. So I start to change my teaching points. That's not a problem. This is an interactive document where you want to make sure that at the end, you're going to have a good time. You're going to share something that's authentic to you, and you're achieving actually what you want to achieve. Who's getting excited about this whole framework? Who's getting, in all honesty, a little bit confused as well and feel like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Right? That's okay. That's still okay. I want you to know, right? I'm doing that now. I'm starting in the now. If that's a thought, you're still in the right place. But I want you to see how I specifically do this. So then we glue the talk together. Now I glue the talk together. I do that very much at the end. So I'm making sure that this framework, this connected to this, is probably 70% of the work I do. Right. So I'm playing around with this, I'm playing around with this, and putting it all together. And then at some point in my head, just starts to click. I'm going to open with this specifically. And I want to make sure I have that specific, because that's where my confidence is going to lie in the first minute. So it's really nice to know how you're going to start. And the same with how you end, right? You want to make sure you end on time, and you want to make sure it's kind of like close, that you don't finish with that was it. So I'm going to focus on that, but I might do that all the way at the end. And then the transitions, there's a whole portal on transitions. You really should double watch this one. It's incredibly powerful, and it's what a lot of people don't do. But this is also something I do through the creative process. So this will be the backbone of 70, maybe 80% of my time. The connection between my teaching points and the stories. And when you watch the course, you also see me drawing some connections, right? Sometimes there's one story that points. Sometimes there's 6 stories. So this is where it can get confusing, right? This is why you got to follow the videos in the course, because they will guide you step by step. But I also want you to know that there will be a process of confusion before there's going to be clarity. And that is okay. That is okay. So how that's now going to be connected, that is the process. And every single time you do it, you're getting better in that. And then last but not least, and this is really, really important, is I do the talk out loud for myself. And then I'm going to go to, I know, Sean, that's live. Then I go to lens number 4. And lens number 4 is, well, you will never leave. You will never leave step 4. And that is this one, optimization of the delivery. Who remembers the enrolling questions we talked about before? Right? What you're going to notice is when you focus on your talk and you got your teaching points, you got your stories, and you're practicing, and you're playing around, and you get better, and you do it out loud, and you're like, I did it. It's actually not that bad. And then you're going to watch it, and then you're going to show it to someone else, and then you're going to notice that there's 0 engagement, like 0, because it's not something you trained in yet. And when you don't pay attention to it, you have something beautiful, you have incredible knowledge, you have great stories, but there's just no engagement whatsoever. So once you start to get clear on, okay, this is the aim. I'm getting really clear on my aim. The teaching points and the stories, this is, by the way, in the Speaking Academy, where you're probably going to be busy with for the whole eight weeks, right? This is your playground. You're gonna build something, you're gonna try it out, and then you're gonna see it, and you're gonna ask some questions, and you're gonna change it, and you're gonna learn some new things, and now you get confused. Now you're like, oh my God, why did I start in the first place? And at some point it's gonna finalize and become clearer. And that's where you're going to dial in the engagement styles. That's where you're going to notice, okay, I need to ask with some questions. I need to ask some suggestive questions. I need to make sure that people are engaged. And that's where, when you have the talk like 80% dialed in, that's where you're going to focus on those moments. And I love to see it like this. Imagine you have 100% of the time, and you watch yourself, and you're like, oh my God, I'm engaging like 0 times, which is most probably what's going to happen. What if I do 1? What if I just focus on 1? What if I just focus on those enrolling questions? I'm just going to start with those. I needed an opening anyways. I'm going to do it with these questions now. Who can do that, by the way? Who can start with 2 questions because you practiced it a couple of times? Every single one of you. Now you've won. It's like so much better than nothing. But then you're going to notice, okay, I started with in the beginning, and then at some point people lose a little bit of their attention. So I got to make sure that there's some sort of engagement, maybe halfway. Who knows for a fact that when you focus on it, you can find one other moment that you can do this, where you can interact with people. And I'm literally doing this now. right? I'm asking you a question. I'm not asking for an answer, but I'm showing you one and two of you, not asking you to do that. It's another way of doing this. So now you have two. So now the longest period that you can quote unquote lose people is just 50%. And then throughout this process, like again, guys, I'm doing this for years. You start to notice that you can do this 3 times a minute, so you don't lose anyone. So when people come back to you, oh, you completely engaged everybody. Like, how do you do this? I'm like, well, framework to it, and there's a lot of different lenses that we look through. I can totally boil this down for you, but it's not just this one tip. What you're doing is exactly what you need to do. You get clear on the outcome that you want to achieve. You create a frame teaching with stories that don't just convey the points, reveal something about yourself. So you make sure you connect to those 3 C's. You open effectively, you close effectively, and then you focus on how can you engage people throughout. What people want to hear is, how do I use my hands? How do I stand then? I'm telling you, you can stand like a freaking stone, but when you do this right, you're gonna own the room. You can still not know what to do with your hands, and you're gonna be so rock solid because your communication is so wild. What is going to happen though is when you start to feel more comfortable, your body is gonna show that. Right? We can focus on where to put our hands. Oh, just put them here. It's like, that's weird. It's just weird. Don't do that. It's weird. It's awkward.
I do like that.
Right? Right? Just be
You
you.
look like Angela
Just be you.
Merkel. She did
Right?
that
It's
all
like,
the time.
it's so staged. It's so staged and so professional and awkward and weird. It's like when someone does this, I don't take them serious. It's like, what are you doing? I'm so distracted right now. So just know that this framework, like when you focus on this, you're going to own the entire audience, and they will feel so compelled and they will be so curious how you've done it. And then you're like, yeah, but I do know how I done it. It's not magic, it's a system. And this system is going to be clear step by step. So this whole engagement situation is sexy, it's really cool, but it's not going to be working if you don't have a clear structure, if you don't have stories, if you don't have teaching points. So there was a lot. There was a lot. And yeah, let's do a quick share of what you walk away with from this. Because again, like, I just want you to know this is how I use this framework. But you're also going to see what I actually create from it. And that is going to be the most powerful thing about this bonus session that I'm really excited about for you, because you see how I think about this framework. You also see that I don't overthink it. I just put something down and I'm changing maybe, and then I'm playing around with this. And now you're going to see how I actually done it. But then afterwards, and this is where the value is going to lie, because I'm not going to be 100% satisfied with what I'm going to do. Never. So you're going to see how I think of it before, how I then actually created it, and what I really done. And then you're gonna hear me reflect my own talk and see what I'm doing. Make sense? So let's do a quick share through everybody and share what you took away from this. Laverne, you want to start?
Well, the question is, this is interesting. It's unique. Because I think in my mind, I'm so focused on creating my story and then my teaching points. So to flip it is pretty interesting, and I'm looking forward to doing this. This is, of course, to me, that's not the way I think, but I thank you for this this idea, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Now, the question that I had initially was, do you always use stories from your library, or are you, as you create a story, I know as you create a story, you add it to the library, but in this situation, are you losing something from your library, or are you just going to be creating a new one, or you don't know yet?
First and foremost, what you just shared is maybe more profound than you might realize. You're brave for it. I want to repeat it. Instead of starting with my story, I start with the outcome of the speech. what a lot of people are afraid of is, what if people don't care about my story? It's not about your story. It's about the outcome for the audience, and you're going to make sure that they're actually obtaining that information by telling stories. You also want to make sure that they know who Laverne is and learn something about who you are as a person. So now you know I need to pick them through three different buckets. It is the absolute change of mindset that will completely drastically change how you're going to be perceived by other people. Like this is I mean, Laverne, if this is a breakthrough you would have in week 8, I would applaud you. So just know that what you just shared is incredibly profound, and it's going to have a lot of effect on how you are excited about speaking as well. Because you never have to think, what will people think of my story? Because it's not about your story. Does that make sense for everybody? Do we see how important that is, that thoughts? So the question about your stories, how I see this, Laverne and everybody, is the framework that I want you to marry for the next 8 weeks is every single time you have a story, put it in your story library. Every time you use a story, put it in your story library. I want you to be comfortable with that behavior. What I currently do is, I've done this for 5 years. I don't put every story in there, but I've done that for 3 years straight. That's why my story library is so big. And that's also the behavior that I trained over and over again. So now I just know how to pull stories from recent events because I've practiced it so many times. So for all of you, I want you to 100% put every story you think of and every story you use inside the story library. This is also going to help you, because I saw the question in the WhatsApp group. I have a question, and is it okay if I share a video around this, right? Because it's a long question. Now, that presupposition, it's a long question, I'm already willing to question that. It's not a long question. It's a short question with a very long story and a very long explanation that will probably not be necessary. So the same with the stories. When people share stories, they're often like super long and not relevant. So this behavior is going to train you to think of scenes of your life, moments in time specifically, that you now can use. And that behavior itself is going to practice the skill. So later on, when you don't put everything in your story library, you're able to recognize what moments you can actually use. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Does that answer your question as well, Laverne?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. All right, we are over time. Who thinks it's valuable to finish this round and let everybody speak about their breakthrough? I think it is. I will stay here until everybody does, but if you need to go, raise your hand first, so we start with you. And let's start with Nilsa, because she's actually in a conference right now and she's getting out to be here.
Well, first of all, thank you, Lori. I know you're on a cruise, and I feel your enthusiasm and your energy, and you're having a lot of breakthroughs and insights, and you wanted to share with us, and I think that's amazing. Thank you. You emphasize so much about the outcome, the engagement with the audience, and me having done this 5 times, I start understanding this even more. So, it is about the now and the new, but you say that we have to feel it. It's not just filling in the blanks. It's starting to feel. If we feel it, our audience are going to feel it. So I get that. That's, we want to optimize our delivery. We want to have the outcome. We want to have the structure. We want to start with the rolling questions so we engage the audience. But for me as a speaker, if I feel the now and the new, I can deliver that optimization as well. So there's that. And when we talk about authenticity and vulnerability, that's something that as a speaker, we need to learn how to deliver to the audience as well. And that, for me, that's a little bit harder. It's fun to talk about numbers and not show the vulnerability and the authenticity behind it. But I think you're giving me something to work with here for my next keynote. So thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And that is also a beautiful share for everybody. Is like, don't expect every single lens to be perfect. Just don't, please don't, because you're not going to be happy, because it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But every single time you get an awareness. If you can watch your own talkback and think, oh, I'm not engaging, like that is a breakthrough. That is a breakthrough because it's the awareness that you're training. And every single time you can just add one thing to the next talk, that's a win. And maybe the first time, the engagement style, for example, it will be all questions. And then you look yourself back and like, that was so annoying. It was like 7 questions. And at some point it was just too many questions. And then you're going to notice, okay, so 7 is too much. And that is going to happen. It has to happen. Like you got to be uncomfortable on one side of the spectrum in order for you to find the middle. So I really give you so much permission to try it out and be awkward and to not like what you're seeing. That is what we're looking for. Like the one who's willing to do that most often in the time we spend together is going to have the best result at the end. So just have the permission to be awkward and do it messy and get better over time. Beautiful, Nilsa. Carolyn, what about you? You're on mute, Carolyn.
I'm going to use a Laurieism. This was dope. It was what everybody has wanted. We've been praying. It's like a little gift came from heaven for. I mean, you heard us. I appreciate it so much. I got so much out of this. And then when Nilsa, I've done this. I'll be doing my 4th one, and Nilsa's done it more than me. But when she saw the little things that I sort of saw too, and I appreciated Nilsa you saying that because I went, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear from Nilsa. So thank you so much for taking the time out and giving us this beautiful, beautiful gift. I love you more than ever.
Great. Beautiful. No, this is beautiful. And I'm excited for you to implement this for yourself because that's where the real awesomeness is going to get. Dope, Carolyn. Well done.
I'm going to learn to be messy. Yeah, that's
Good.
hard. I'm going
Yeah.
to learn to be messy. This is my new thing.
Yes.
Be messy.
Let's
Oh,
go. Let's
okay.
go. And you know, one thing before we go to Sean, like when I say messy, right? You can still feel like you can still be present and not do it perfectly. It's not about, messy needs to be like, brrr. Like it can be super grounded. It can be a very thoughtful, mindful experiment that you're doing. And then afterwards, you're going to evaluate that experiment and see, okay, what did I like and what did I not like? Right. So it can be very thoughtful. It can be very processed. I know that everybody learns in a different way. So just know that when I say the word messy, I don't mean it needs to be a mess. It can be a very specific experiment that you're doing. And for you, Carolyn, we've been playing around with the experiment of not using a script, which has more to do with, are you enough when you're just you? And yes, you are. So when you share from a place of grounding, and it's so cool. And I share this with Carolyn, and I have permission to share this. I asked her before, is when you listen to Carolyn, she will have a different voice, right? Carolyn has a high voice. I have that too. That's why I'm able to recognize it. I can be airy sometimes, like, ah. But when you're grounded and you have this tone, it's a different energy. You're also tapping into a different part of your memory. So when Carolyn comes from this place, she doesn't need a script. When she gets nervous and she gets here, she will need a script because she's going to forget. And you will hear it in her voice. So that's what we've been practicing for quite some time. And I'm really proud of you for committing to that, because that's where the answer is going to lie. Because that's where you can be you on a stage. You don't need the script. None of you need the script. You need some bullet points, maybe. I mean, I need some bullet points. And I also don't write it down. I sometimes draw it down because I'm a very visual learner. So I'm able to see what I'm going to say. Everybody has their own way. Beautiful, Carolyn. Sean, what about you?
I think the main thing is just write it down. And I have a long list of stories too. I need to catalog like you have there, but on my phone, I have a notes that scrolls on and on and on and on between different things that have happened to me and everything. So I just really need to get those and consolidate them, because thinking about what I want to talk about, it's all based upon who I was. So it's all coming from feelings of I don't like the way I felt, and this is the way I feel now, and this is what I wanted to feel, and just how did I get there, right? So I think it's just a matter of going through the process. Like you said, if nobody wants to get up there and wing it, because it's just going to go horrible, right? So it's just a matter of
Yeah.
trusting the process, following the process, not worrying that it's not perfect because it's going to change. And I think, I don't know, it's very simplistic of what I'm saying because you've said it and I hear it from a lot of people, but it's just trusting the process and just keep moving forward with it. I know I was halfway through this, so, but I found a lot of value in it. So thank you.
Got it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's the power, right? We cannot share feelings through words. We can share feelings through stories via words. So it's so cool that you're going to be aware of what moments in time you felt certain things, and then to put those moments in time in your story library so you can convey the feeling. So
Yeah,
that's
not even
beautiful.
just
I'm
convey it,
excited
but
for you.
feel it, just to feel it. And I've been in
Yeah.
some of the MBA classes and I'm telling the story and all of a sudden I don't realize like, holy crap, it hit me, and everyone else is
Yeah.
seeing that it
Yeah.
hit me, and that's
That's the
that's the
goal.
connection. And that's
Yes.
that's what I'm hoping for.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Daphne, what about you?
I'm sorry, I'm asking a very basic question right now, but I'll regret it if I don't ask. About the Notion template. I've tried, and to the point where I've wasted a lot of time trying to figure it out. I saw that you responded and you said it's in chapter 2, video 4, and I have no idea what that means. I went in and looked into
Okay.
the class and everything. So the link isn't
So,
working in the email, the email that you sent.
so one thing that I want to make sure of is you should never say, I'm sorry for asking a question, ever, right? Because who is happy, Daphne asks? There's always more. See? So you should never say sorry for things that you think that are easy or should be easy. Don't. When you have a question, ask it. So I'm going to show you. And I will show you at the end because I want to. Do you have anything else? Because we will figure this out. No worries. What was your breakthrough of this session, Daphne? And I want to hear Nicole.
The just overall the breakthrough is showing me this framework is showing me that it's possible to organize my thoughts, and it's showing it's possible, and I'm really excited about it. I just cannot wait to put it all together.
Yes, good job. Nice one. Nicole, what about you?
I'm looking forward to ask more questions and ask the simple questions, and maybe at the end more the profound ones that they can think about it. So like giving them kind of a homework. I like that. That was really good. Yeah, that's what I have to share. I'm sorry, my line is very bad today. I don't know if this is with all of you, but I was on and off today. Sorry. I missed most of the questions.
There is a replay as well, Nicole, so you're able to see all of it. But that's a beautiful one. I think sometimes we look too much at like, oh, I did so many podcasts, I did so many stages, and I would love to celebrate you for asking most questions and maybe the stupidest ones. So maybe Daphne, you get just 20 points by asking a question that you thought was not relevant, even though everybody was like, oh, thank you. Thank you for being the one. Right? So let me share my screen right now, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. When we are in Notion, I created a template for you that you can copy and duplicate in your own Notion that now becomes your own story library template. So the outcome of this, and I want to start with this because then you actually know why you're even bothered, is the template that I created that I use. I think it's very useful, which means that you can have a story in one place and you can give them specific tags. You can give them specific tags. You can give them coolness, credibility, and community tags. So when you're looking for a specific story, you can easily find them back. That's the only reason why we even have Notion. If you're like, well, I really don't care, Lori. I'd rather have an Excel sheet because I'm really great with Excel and everything you're just sharing, I'd rather do in Excel. Do that. Like, it's not that you need to do this. What I believe is that I found a way that I think is the best and that I've been using for a while and I absolutely love. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So let's start even there, right? It's the same with any framework you're getting. It's not an exercise, it's a tool. It's a tool that's going to help you. And the same with this. So what we created for you is, instead of saying you can create it in Notion yourself, which Daphne, you probably actually can because you're already using Notion. I want you to have a template that you can duplicate. So then you don't have to think about how to create it, but just immediately are able to use it. That's the outcome. Now, the link that you have is this link. And that is for me that I published this template for you. So when you paste this link somewhere else, and it's not able for me because I will go immediately to my own because I'm logged in, is that I will go to this specific template and I'm able to duplicate it. Now the duplication button will be here in the right upper corner. So you can click on duplicate and you put it in your own system. And I'm not sure if it's showing that for me right now because I'm already logged in. But what will happen is that here has this button of duplication. Now, when I share this here, there you go. When I click here, I can duplicate it. And then it will come into my own story library. There we go. Now, see, where would you add your story library? And then I can pick my own. So I might do here. I don't do it now because I already have it. And then I just say add to private. So I add it to my own Notion. Now, in case you don't have a Notion account, and I can share this as well. When I put it in incognito, you will notice that it's going to ask you to create an account. So when we're here and it's loading, it's not too fast today. When I would click on duplicate, it will ask me to create an account. And that is, Daphne, where you already had an account. So you can add it to the account, and where other people might need to create an account. Now in the course, because I know that there will be some questions, also maybe you haven't watched the video yet, right? I would highly recommend to ask to, and see, so now it's asking you to create a video. Now, you also, because I shared, I understand that you're like, chapter 2 video for what the free gag does that mean, Laurie? I'll show you what that means. So then next time when we use that language, everybody is able to find the video that we're talking about.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
What was the reason for the putting in incognito?
It's for me to show you what happens when you don't have a Notion account yet. So because I already have my own Notion account, when I do it in non-incognito, it immediately connects with my account.
Correct.
But you might
Okay.
not have an account yet. So it's more to show you what then happens. It's not that you need to do it in incognito.
Okay, thank you.
And again, like for people who are super tech challenged and it's like, it becomes like this nightmare for you. Like the outcome that we have is that you have a place where you store your stories. So if you are like, I mean, my grandma, she would just write it on Post-its and put it in a photo album because she's afraid that monsters are going to eat their, she doesn't understand any of it. So she will not be bothered. And I don't need her to be bothered. I don't need her to use this template. Just write your Post-it notes. Like the outcome that we're achieving is that you have one place where you can easily find it. Now, I think that this template is really useful. But if it drains more energy for you than it achieves, then you might want to find the way that works for you. But just for the sake of explaining, I will share how we can get clear on where the videos are stored. When you go to your members portal, do we see one with a gray background with Epic Keynote, right? Those are the videos that you're watching. So when you click there, this is not what you see. This is what you will see when it loads. It's being fascinating slow. What you're going to see is you're going to see startup, and then you're going to say speak up. When you go to speak up, which is basically the middle tab, and when I can show you visually, it will make most sense because now it sounds super complicated, which is not. But you will see that there's 4 different chapters. Chapter number 1 is build the fundament. Chapter 2 is pick the right stories. Chapter 3 is glue it all together. And chapter 4 is how to engage. When we're talking about the story library, it's in the second space, which is pick the right stories. So that's what I mean with the second chapter. When I say 4th video, it's the 4th video in that place. Somehow it's giving me a total different framework than you see it, but I will show it anyways, just to give you the visual. Because this is not what it looks like for you, and it's also not what it looks like for me, but it's having a Monday on a Thursday. So chapter number 1, define the transformation. Below chapter 1, there are some videos. Chapter 2, pick your stories. And then video number 4 is called collect the stories from your daily life, the story library. Now in that video, it will be specifically explained how you create your own story library, why we create our own story library, and it will guide you step by step on how to create this Notion framework. There's also a downloadable PDF about how to create your Notion framework, right? So there's a lot of resources that are there for you. So for everybody who's like, oh my God, what is going on? And you did not watch that video, chillax, just watch the video. Any more questions before we're gonna wrap it up? No? You guys, this was an extra bonus. Like no one has access to these kind of things, and there you go, you got it. So now you see how I fill in the framework. You're going to see the recording of the keynote, and then you're going to hear my own reflections on how I have actually done it. So this way you're able to see how this is going to work for you. And I'm so excited because you're all incredible, and you should totally go out there, get on stages, and inspire people to do what you offer, because you have beautiful things. Cool. Cool.
Thank you so very much.
Are we excited to keep watching the videos? And the WhatsApp is there for you to ask any questions. And
Put sun
the replay
lotion
will also
on.
be in your portal. Say that again, Nicole.
Put sun lotion on. Because you're
Yes, sunscreen. There's some.
yeah, sun
We
cream.
will. I'll take care of myself. Thank you so much for being so considerate. All right, you guys.
Awesome. Thank
See you
you.
later.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Lauren. Bye all.